Why the YouTube sites? Well, um, I grew up shooting bow. My dad shot before I was even born, the late 40s, all through the 50s and 60s, and then so I'd shot from when I was little, and I'd always, shot the way I learned to shoot, which was, pick a spot, focus on it, execute good form, and hopefully get the arrows in there. So I competed a little bit when I was young, not a whole lot, but some. And so around 2000, I decided to get back into it. And I really got into self bows initially more than anything else at that time. But I went back to what I'd always done, just focus on the spot, execute good form, and try and get them in there. And I felt like I kind of peaked. I just wasn't getting any better, repeating that same process over and over and over. And my form was pretty solid. So I wanted to learn how other people aimed the bow, how they set their bows up, and why they did. So I started trying to find out, and coincidentally, this was at about the time of a resurgence of recurves and longbows. There was a late 90s, early 2000. There was a surge in interest in traditional archery. Traditional became a word at that time. Before that, it was just archery, and people shot recurves, longbows, or compounds. And many of the people in the 90s, most of them had started shooting recurves or longbows and then gone to a compound. So they were going back to recurves and longbows, what they knew to begin with. Others, a new generation came along that had grown up with compounds, so it was something new for them. And many people kind of took to this traditional archery as a lifestyle more than anything. So at that time, aiming was a bad word. No one wanted to talk about aiming or using the tip of the arrow or anything. And so I found that interesting. I went into it, I had no idea that would be the case. And so I found it very difficult to get information. People didn't want to tell you how they aim, didn't want to tell you how they set their bows up. And so it was difficult at first to try to get that out of people. And I wanted to know. I was interested in just digging into archery and finding out everything I could find out, and then trying it for myself until I found what worked best for me. And that's what archery is truly all about, is finding out truly what is best for you, what works best for you. But anyway, so I dug into this. Well, shortly after that, Denny Sturgis and Daryl Kedor released Masters of the Barebow Volume 1, and man, that was exactly what I was looking for, so I ate that up. Shortly after that, I posted a video trying to get some open dialogue about form and stuff, and Rod Jenkins responded to me, and Rod and I hit it off from the beginning. We became very close friends and are to this day. I consider Rod the coach that has helped me the most in this archery journey for me. But I decided then that I was going to record all the things I learned along this journey of mine and put it on the internet for free for other folks to see and try, so that they could, try it for themselves. This isn't about me saying you should string walk or gap shoot or aim with the arrow. There's nothing wrong with any form of archery. It's about exposure. This site is about showing you what's out there, what I've seen, what I've learned, sharing it with you so that you make an informed decision about how you want to shoot. That's truly what I'm trying to get at with all these videos, is allow others to learn what I've learned in a shortcut type of way, so they don't have to go through the pain that I did to get the information. Most accurate method. Well, that's a touchy subject. People get really emotional about it. All forms of aiming, whether it be staring at a spot, focusing on it, executing the shot, letting your brain do that calculation, what's become known as instinctive archery, gapping, pick a point, or string walking, all very effective and can be mastered and shot very well. I know people who have been incredibly accurate with all forms of those. If you pin me down and you make me rank order them, I will have to say, string walking would be the most accurate. The ability to put your point on the spot every shot. and execute it. You add a clicker to that equation and someone that can use a good draw check device, and that's an incredibly accurate system. As you get beyond 30 yards, you get on out to the longer shots. Certainly, string walking is the most effective and accurate system. It's not for everyone. It requires a great deal of patience and someone that likes constantly tinkering, tuning, adjusting the bow. You know, I've been accused of, people have said, well, I had a guy say, you make archery way too complicated. And I said, I don't make archery anything. Archery is what it is. Your ignorance of the physics, the laws of nature, the aerodynamics of the arrow when it's shot does not make it any less true. It's there. It's a part of the equation. I think understanding those things helps you become a better archer, and so I try to expose people to that. Next would be gapping. Again, gapping can be very accurate. It also requires a lot of work. You kind of need to pick a bow and stick with it if you really want to maximize your potential with that system. Large gaps are hard to deal with for a lot of folks. I struggle with it. Smaller gaps are easier to manage, but that requires a lot of tuning, a higher anchor, various things that you can see in the videos that I try to teach and show people to reduce gap. But gapping is a very good system. Pick a point, also very effective system. There have been some great archers use pick a point in field, for example. And finally, what we know is instinctive archery. At 30 and in, it can be very accurate. But you know, in regards to these aiming systems, I often liken them into blacktop basketball. You know, I remember when I was in elementary school, and we had a blacktop out there with a basketball goal on each end. And I distinctly remember the PE coach taking us out there and giving us a couple of basketballs. And there was that one kid that could take the basketball from the start, and he could just look at the goal. He could see the arc. He didn't even have to think about it. He just shot, and it was nothing but net. He could stand on the free throw line and just shoot free throws, no problem. There was that kid that just slammed it against the backboard every time. You know, there's a commercial out of that shows a little boy learning to play pitch with his dad, and his dad's like throwing the baseball off the wrong foot, and there's that guy. And so I realized, why would archery be any different? There's the guy that can just look at what he wants to hit, take his time, focus on it, execute a shot, and hit it 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times. There's also the guy that can't hit the backboard. And so there's nothing wrong with having a system, some type of system, whether it be gapping, string walking, pick a point, whatever the system is, to help that guy enjoy his archery more by hitting the spot at a higher percentage rate. And again, that's what these videos are trying to do, is expose people to techniques or systems that may help them enjoy more, because everybody at the end of the day wants to hit the mark. That's what we're out here to do, is to enjoy shooting with accuracy. If we're out here to try and create a scenario where you become less accurate, then I think we're missing the point of archery. Ultimately, for some it's just target archery, but ultimately for most of us it's about hunting, and we want to make good lethal shots on animals. If that means you need to aim the bow somehow using a system to make a good lethal kill on an animal, then by all means, that's what I think we should all want you to do. If that means you can just look at that spot on that deer and execute a shot and hit them, then great, good for you. I'm not out to say what system's right for anyone, but I am out to inform folks of various methods that might help them be more successful. And so that's very rewarding when someone sends a note and says, hey, these videos helped me, I was struggling, but this worked for me, or that worked. They're not for everyone, but there's as much stuff on there for how to set up and use primitive self bows as there is string walking with a modern Olympic rig. I think we've been able to put up enough stuff that everyone can get a little something out of these videos.